cards, so if anybody
I've
wants
got
one.
some.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, great.
The staff that everybody's got.
All right. I'm Mindy Ezell. I am a social worker at the PADD office and with the Consumer Directed Option Program. I know that some of you know about the program, but basically it's a Medicaid waiver program. I know that they had mentioned Michelle-P waiver, which is sadly currently closed, but we do also do the HCB waiver, and basically it is a Medicaid funded waiver, and through our program we can pay a caregiver to be in the home with your child. We know that kids with special needs aren't fit for, sometimes aren't fit for normal daycare, normal babysitting, stuff like that. So our program can pay for a caregiver to be in the home with them. There are several different services that we provide, or the caregivers can provide through the program. But mainly with children with the HCB waiver, it is going to be attendant care, which will cover a caregiver to be in your home while you're working full-time or going to school full-time. Also respite services, and that would just give you a break from normal day-to-day lives, because we all know that it's stressful dealing with a child with special needs. Or not even special needs, just a child who's medically fragile. So some respite services, and then also we realize that kids with special needs sometimes are not potty trained at older ages, so we can help with some supplies. If your child is not already on Medicaid, you can call me, you can call the office, ask for somebody in the CDO program, you'll get someone. And we can go ahead.
Give your local number, because the brochure just has the Frankfurt number.
I know. You can go ahead and call, and we can come out and assess you, see if your child is eligible for the program, and then we can get them approved. And after they are approved, you can go through the process of trying to get Medicaid, because the program will sometimes make your child eligible for Medicaid where otherwise they would not have been. I can give you my number really quick. The main office number is 270-247-7171. You can ask for me, Mindy, or you can ask for somebody in the CDO program, because I am in and out doing home visits and stuff quite often. I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
You did say Medicaid pays for it.
Medicaid. It's your child's going to be approved, and then based on their needs, or they just do historical use, Medicaid will give us a budget and say you have this much money to use per year, and then based on that budget, that will tell us, you have this many hours that a caregiver can be paid for. So it's not, just whatever you need. It's based on usually historical use. Just if you're getting this service and this service, we're just going to give the same amount to everyone. But there is a way to request for more hours if you don't see that that's not sufficient.
How long does it normally take to get a kid approved?
Usually, if we come out and do an assessment, it can take, to actually get them approved, probably a week or so. But after that, to get a budget back and stuff, it can take about a month.
Is this a number on the brochure? 247, I didn't get the number.
7171, 247-7171.
Does Medicare cover for disabled?
Medicare?
Yeah.
No, it's just a Medicaid program.
Can you explain briefly the process of how there's probably several people whose child is already on the medical card on Medicaid, what they would do to start the process, just from step one?
Just give us a call, the office, then we will take a referral, set up a time to come out and see you, do an assessment. It's a lot of paperwork, and then we have to call that into Medicaid. They tell us whether you're approved or not, and then from there, if you're approved, we request a budget from Medicaid. They send that back to us, and then you start using services. You do have to, your employee, because you pick who you want that caregiver to be, your employee does have to fill out an application, and they do have to have a background check. Just so, you know, if you don't know them, you're not very familiar with them, then we do a background check just to make sure that everything's okay.
Is there Medicaid, depending on how much money you make, is that if you make too much money, you don't get Medicaid?
Well, they usually base it on, and the Medicaid office is, I don't know how it works, but usually they'll base it on the child's income. So if they have any income at all, they usually will base it on that. If they don't have any income, and it's $745 a month. It just changed. So anything over that has to be paid into Medicaid, which is usually not a problem for children, just because they don't have any income, and if they do, it's not much.
But what if their parents make more money?
They usually don't base it on the parents' income. I have seen a handful of cases where they have based it on the parents' income, but they don't usually.
I have WellCare because of my son's issues, and we both work full-time, and I've never had any trouble
Yeah.
with him.
Typically what they do is they consider the child their own guardian.
Yes.
And then they
Right.
zero income the child and then award Medicaid based on that. You have to go to the HIP building, you have to get denial or approval from the Social Security office on SSI benefits. And dealing with the HIP building is always a little bit different. So if you just kind of go in there and tell them, you know, this is why I'm here. I'm not coming in because I want low income benefits, but because my child is disabled and I'm applying for this waiver, then they kind of set your appointment differently and take a different tone throughout the meeting, and it becomes like the Medicaid waiver medical card and not just a income-based medical card.
Right. It's a little bit different.
Which typically makes it a better medical card system where you can use it like at Vanderbilt on an emergency basis, and other places that will take it as a write-off versus WellCare or Coventry.
Mindy,
Yeah.
You said the Michelle P. waiver is currently closed.
Mhm.
Could you elaborate?
We at the PADD office, we don't actually do assessments for Michelle P. waiver. We're not a qualified agency. We do our own assessments for the HCB waiver. So that goes through Four Rivers.
Right, and actually in today's, the second page, it says that they were just awarded $61,800 in federal and state funds for the Department for
All right.
Medicaid waiver
Is that what
services.
you were gonna say, Dr. Barnes?
Oh, is it great? I haven't heard that news
I
yet.
didn't catch that, but I was actually gonna answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
So, Michelle P. waiver, first off, the waivers are all under examination right now. Some things have been taken away from it already.
Right.
The waivers were actually not created as they're currently now being used, okay? So, but anyways, the way the waiver works is there's a certain pot of money that is put out every year, okay? So the fiscal year starts September 1, okay? And once you admit a certain number of individuals / slots, I think the number was either 200 or 400 last year,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Once those slots are filled, then it's closed until the next fiscal year, okay? The slots will open again. I think there was again 400 slots approved for the coming fiscal year, okay? I think that's what I remember from Amy telling me. But anyways, but those will open on September 1st.
So they will be open on
Okay.
September 1st.
Okay, so, and that's how it rolls every year,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
So do you have to reapply yearly or once?
No, you don't have to
So
reapply
this-
yearly, but that's
additional slots each.
But that's, you know, for the admission to the program, there's a certain number of slots every year, as it's currently conceived.
So that would be the waiting list the people that are currently on the waiting list.
People on the waiting list,
would be-
right.
would
Right.
have
They
access to
serve the
those
waiting list
spots.
based on severity and need, correct?
Yeah, part of it, yeah.
Isn't that by definition what a waiver program is, a waiver income from the parents and based on the child's income? That was always my thought.
exactly know, but that sounds reasonable.
Based on the child income, because that's why it's called a waiver program, they waive the income of the parents and base it on the.
And when we start talking about the child's income, things like college savings funds and CDs and savings account that Granny and Poppy opened, those things count as child
Those things
income.
count.
So and if the black box in the very back, you can visit it, there is a tab that is estate planning, and it talks about special needs trust. As long as you have put all of that money in a designated special needs trust, it actually has to be worded as a special needs trust, then they cannot count that income as child's income. But if it's sitting in a savings account at Paducah Bank, it can be counted. So it is extremely important if you have, grandparents, great-grandparents, aunts and uncles that contribute to savings funds and college accounts and things, that you really look into a special needs trust. And we've got some attorneys, business cards and things like that, in that black box in the back.
Another option is just to have it in somebody,
Yeah.
parents or whoever's name.
Yeah, put it in mom's
Contribute to
name, brother's name,
Yeah.
sister's name, whatever the situation may be.
Is adoption subsidy counts, things like that?
See, I don't know, I've never been in that situation.
It doesn't count on
I don't,
taxes.
I
I
couldn't
don't know,
answer.
I wouldn't think so, but.
My understanding is that adoption subsidy doesn't have to be reported ever.
No,
Right,
we have
It's-
some
it's-
kids, who-
Yeah,
and
it's not
it's,
considered.
yeah, it's never been,
It's kind of like child support. Like
Uh-huh.
they
Correct.
usually say you can or cannot include child support. That's basically how it's treated.